Good evening. I forgot my name. This is not a good
Would be
way to
Robert
start the meeting.
Connors.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Bob Connors. It is 6 p.m. I'd like to call the June 3rd meeting, the Newbury Conservation Commission, to order. Mason, please read the remote open meeting law preamble and take a roll call of the members present.
As a preliminary matter, this is Mason Ferret, Conservation Agent of the Newbury Conservation Commission, and I call the June 3rd meeting to order and permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mary Rimmer,
Yes.
TJ Conti,
Yes.
Mick Brown, Diane O'Brien,
Yes.
Woody Knight, Frank Wettenkamp,
Yes.
and Bob Connors.
Yes.
Good evening. This open meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Newbury Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom call as posted on the agenda of the Conservation Commission section of the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak and or share information to the screen if able on the fly. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda, but before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your microphone, please use earbuds, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board and committee members should be called upon in a first name alphabetical order to ease the process. After board and committee members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first seek questions through the chat function. When participants are using this function, please list your name, address, and then your question. The chair will then seek questions from the public who wish to speak. They'll be asked to identify their names and addresses, question, and once the chair has a list of all public commentators, they'll call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote.
Okay, thank you, Mason. Upcoming meeting dates, June 17th and July 1st. Meeting minutes review, we have the May 6th and the May 20th meeting minutes in the Dropbox. Why don't we take a minute to review those? Those have been revised. Mary, I'm not sure if your comments got over to Mason or not. I kind of took a look at it and made a couple of edits, but
Okay, yes, I may not have. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, but I just wanted to say that they've kicked around a different version. So
Okay.
okay, any questions or concerns? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the May 6th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, TJ. Okay, roll call. All in favor. Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Aye.
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. Mason, just let me know when Woody jumps on so I don't overlook him.
Yep.
Okay, next matter is the May 20th meeting minutes. Why don't we take a look at those, see if there's any comments, concerns, or corrections? Any concerns, Mary?
No.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 20th, 2025.
So moved.
Second? There's a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Okay, roll call. All in favor? Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
I will abstain. I was not here.
okay. Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Next order of business. Mary, we kind of shuffled the agenda around tonight because we wanted to take full advantage of your limited time tonight.
Great.
But almost everything's been continued, so it, that was the reason we took things out of order, so.
Thanks. I'm gonna switch over.
Okay. All right, continued public hearings, DEP file number 0501-447, 2 Plum Island Boulevard. The applicant is submitting a notice of intent to demolish an existing structure on the property and construct 4 residential townhouses within 2 pile-supported buildings. This project is located on Barrier Beach and within 100 feet of the salt marsh buffer. Mason, will you bring us up to date on this? I'm pretty sure there was a request for a continuance.
Yep, so Attorney Roloff had reached out today, and based on the feedback that they've received from the ZBA and others, the project team's in the process of redesigning, improving, making changes. They're also going to be working with a professional wetland scientist, so at this time they'd ask to continue and that the board not move forward with any third party consulting at this point.
Okay, did they want to continue to the June 17th meeting?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our June 17th meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, so TJ and Diane. Okay, roll call. All in favor? Mary?
Yes.
TJ?
Aye.
Diane?
yes.
Frank?
Yes.
And Bob Connors. Okay. We're operating at light speed here. Okay, next matter is a continued public hearing on DEP file number 0501450, 65 Hanover Street. Applicant is submitting an ANRAD to confirm resource areas on this property. Mason, can you provide an overview of where we stand on this one?
Yep, so at the last meeting, the board approved third-party review by Northwoods Environmental and Heidi Gaffney. As of right now, they are still in the works of scheduling the delineation confirmation, and I believe they are aiming for Friday the 6th at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Um,
Joyce Macheras, the hearing on the Plum Island Grill has been continued to the June 17th meeting, just so you know. I'm assuming that's why you're on the call. Okay, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our June 17th meeting.
So moved,
Second.
Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Diane,
yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay. Next order of business is an amendment request, DEP file number 0501435, Sunset Club. Applicant is submitting an amendment to the current order of conditions that includes installation of a 40 by 40 open pavilion structure. The submission addresses the impacts of new resource areas and any changes to stormwater management. Mason, what's the update on this one?
Yeah, so Joe Sirwaka had just sent over his review letter this afternoon, so I believe that's in the Dropbox now, but that was just
Yes, it is.
submitted maybe an hour or 2 hours ago. In addition, I had been in touch with Vince Godin and Steve Sawyer. I believe that they are making some amendments to the plan and changes to address comment number 3 on Joe's review letter. So they have requested to continue until the 17th to adjust plans accordingly.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our June 17th meeting.
So moved,
So moved. Second.
Okay. Okay, roll call. All in favor? Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Diane,
yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, great. Okay, next order of business is a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 0501427. 1 Main Street. Applicant is requesting a full certificate of compliance for the project at 1 Main Street. A partial certificate of compliance was issued in the fall, and the final COC was pending stabilization of the yard. Mason, could you give us an update and a recommendation on this one?
Yeah, so if you guys remember, we had issued a partial certificate of compliance. I believe it was late winter, or maybe it was early spring. Since then, I had gone out to the site probably a month ago at this point to meet with the new homeowner that's there. He was going to request a certificate of compliance at that point, but I wasn't confident that the yard had been stabilized to the commission's satisfaction. Since then, Phil Franciosa, the developer, has reached out saying that it's all set. And I was able to drive by there earlier this week and it's fully vegetated.
Okay, so you recommend?
Yep, I would recommend that we issue a full certificate of compliance.
Okay. Questions from the members? Mary, any questions on this one?
Yes, wasn't there some concern that there had been some disturbance of the wetland for this? Was this the site?
No, not on this one.
Okay.
You may be thinking of the 62 middle, the open enforcement order that we have.
Okay,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
think I am.
this
Okay,
this
thank you.
the site's clean. They actually still have erosion controls down. So
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. TJ, any questions on this one?
Nope, none from me.
Okay, thank you, TJ. Diane, any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, Frank, any questions on this one?
No, thanks, Bob.
And I have no questions. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
seeing none.
Okay. Do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information at this time?
Nope.
Okay. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 1 Main Street.
So moved. Second.
I'm just gonna write you guys in alternately, whoever made the
Yeah.
motion in a second, and
We need to talk
Everybody-
before the meeting.
we need a photo finish if this was a horse
Yeah.
race. Okay, roll call, all in favor, Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
Yes,
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, next matter is a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 0501334, 6 Blue Hill Avenue. Applicant is requesting to close out an order of conditions for the replacement of decks, the outside shower, and underground utilities. The applicant is now seeking a full certificate of compliance as the beach grass has fully grown in. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this one?
Yep, so I met out on site with the homeowner, Ned. It sounded like he was working with Sean Young at the end of last year, hopefully trying to close things out. But I think he was waiting on the grass plugs to come in. I can share my screen with some photos that I took on the site visit to see what the existing conditions are. All the deck work was done. There's no ongoing work on the property. The only thing that changed, there was 500 square feet of mitigation planting required on the back side of the house, and the homeowner ended up putting in 1,000 square feet of American beach grass plugs. So you'll see those in the pictures. Those are coming in really well. Yeah.
Okay. Questions from the members? Mary, any questions on this one?
when were they planted, Mason?
These were planted at the end of last season, I believe.
So they haven't been through a full growing season yet? Okay, thank you.
I want to say he had originally put 500 in, and those had a full growing season, and then the additional 500 is what was planted at the end of last season.
Okay, great, thank you.
And then this small fencing is just temporary. He said he was having a real hard time with the rabbits pulling up the plugs. That's just for
Yeah,
temporary
that,
survival.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mary. TJ, any questions on this? This
no,
matter?
no questions.
Okay, Diane, any questions on this one?
No love, thank you.
Frank, any questions on this matter?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, I do not have any questions. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay. Do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 6 Blue Hill Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, TJ and Diane. Okay, roll call, All in favor? Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. Right. Okay, we have another certificate of compliance, DEP file number 0501094. 11 Blue Hill Ave. Applicant is requesting a full certificate of compliance for a project that was permitted to remove an existing riprap bulkhead with a new Shea system, upland of the existing structure, removal of a riprap in the tidal flat area was also permitted. Mason, can you provide an overview on this and probably some pictures? Just this predates some of us, so
Yep,
Well-
yeah, I have some photos to share here. The bulkhead was removed and it seemed like the tidal flat was pretty cleaned up from when I visited.
so the Shea system are those stackable masonry blocks. Okay, yeah. See it.
was there an as-built with this one, Mason?
Required or submitted?
Either.
Let me check. Not seeing any. I don't see any post-construction special conditions.
Okay. I'm sorry to go out of order, Bob.
Yeah, no, Mary, go ahead. That's certainly.
Just when was the order issued?
July 10th, 2012.
2012, so it is really old, okay.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the aerials just to see what was there, because it's kind of hard to know what you're,
You know what's happening to Mary is title examiners weren't all that focused on certificates of compliance and orders and conditions.
I
Now
do see
they're,
the,
now they're laser focused on them.
yeah, I do see the 2012 aerials showing the riprap. And it looks like the structure was put in sometime around 2019 or 20, maybe 2015. Yep, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary. TJ, any questions on this one?
No, no questions.
Okay, Diane, any questions on this one?
No, Bob, thank you.
I gotta be honest with you, I had Blue Hill Avenue not near the water or the basin. I'm assuming that's the basin, but
Yep.
I've only been out here 40 years. I probably should
There it
know
is, yeah.
where all the roads are. Frank, any questions or comments on this one?
No. All set.
Okay, and Bob Connors, I have no questions. Mason, any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay. Do any members have requests for a site visit or additional information?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 11 Blue Hill Avenue.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, roll call vote. All in favor? Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay. All right, it is now 6:21 PM and the pile has gone down. Mason, do you have a question?
Yeah, I believe I see the new homeowner here, Frank. So just to let you know, Frank, the commission just approved the certificate of compliance. So I'll have that issued and sent that out to you.
Thank you very much. I nick of time.
Hey, have a good night, Frank. Thank you. Okay, we're off to the outstanding enforcement orders. 30 Riverview Drive. Mason, any update on this? I know they were waiting on shrubs the last time.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten a list of plants that they're putting in. It sounds like the homeowner may be trying to source the plants themselves to try and save some money, but no updates beyond that.
Okay.
Can we reach out to them?
So I reached out to DeRosa, their representative, and they had told me that the homeowners were going to try and source it elsewhere, but as of right now, that's kind of all the updates they have. But I'll follow up and check in.
Because I think that 'cause at some point our decision had some kind of clock on it, didn't it have some kind of
I
maybe
think it
that
was
was just
just
for
a,
filing, I don't
We're
know.
Yeah, I think
waiting
it
for
was-
the planning season.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think was to come in with an RDA to square this away. Wasn't that what we did, Mason? Is that
Yeah.
what-
I
think
can
we did.
review. We may
Yeah.
have done like a June 1st check-in or something like that.
Yeah.
So I can reach out to the applicant and see where they're at.
okay.
Okay, well, I mean, the enforcement order doesn't go away until it's resolved, so. Okay, next matter is enforcement order, 5 Southern Boulevard, unpermitted work.
Whoop, you skipped
Mason?
one.
Which one? Well, I,
62 middle.
62 Middle Road.
yeah, where is that? Drive. Okay, 62 Middle Road, where are we at on that one?
So 62 Middle Road, when we were originally gonna do the final inspection for a certificate of compliance, we noticed some additional violations. Where there was tree removal and debris kind of pushed into the wetland areas. Since then, the debris and the trees have all been hand removed. They're out of that area now. And it has come back and revegetated itself. They have installed a chain link fence in the buffer zone. But outside of that, there's no new violations, and I would say that, you know, the previous violation has been cleaned up. They do still have an open order of conditions that they were looking to close out, but is not ready. The backyard is not fully stabilized yet, so that's where they would be at.
Okay, so what's your recommendation on the enforcement order? Are you comfortable having that be closed out and then just rely on the COC, or will it issue another enforcement order if there's some other violation in the meantime?
Yeah, I think closing out the open enforcement order is good because I can share a photo here. Just to give the rest of the board a little bit of perspective. This area back here was the area where the violation occurred on this side of the fence. So everything was pulled out and cleaned out of there, and you can see that it's naturally vegetating now. That being said, I do think it would be good, obviously, to have them, you know, have the yard fully stabilized before a certificate of compliance. And if need be, we could always, you know, issue another enforcement order if ongoing violations are happening.
Okay, let me hold you there, Mason. Questions, Mary, questions on this one? What are your thoughts on that?
Just a couple things. So I thought that the backyard was going to be seeded and stabilized. Looks like there's still a lot of bare ground there.
Yeah, so I had talked with the homeowner. He had put a little bit of sod down here, and I think his plan is to seed, but he just, I guess he hasn't
Haven't
gotten around
gotten to
it at
that
this
yet.
point. Yeah.
Okay. And then the chain link fence, you know, should have come to us before it got put up.
Correct.
Typically, we would like to see fencing that allows wildlife passage, but it looks like they probably have a dog, and that's
Mhm.
what this was for,
Right.
given the kennel right there. So in this case, I think it's going to keep activities away from the wetland, so where there's been a problem. So maybe this is not a bad thing.
Right.
Okay, Mary. Thank you, Mary. PJ, any questions on this one?
No questions other than, you know, the adding of the chain link fence without coming to us is a little bit alarming, although I do agree with you, Mary, it's gonna be a benefit, but not sure they understand they need to come to the board
Yep.
before they do things rather than after.
No,
That's it.
Good point, PJ. Diane, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I remember this one from a while, the site visit a long time ago, and that was the problem to begin with, right? They pushed everything into the wetland without, they kind of
Yeah.
cleared the backyard and pushed everything out.
Yeah.
So they should have known, but whatever.
Well, it may protect the wetlands having the
It
fence there,
may, yeah.
which is to Mary's point, to
Yeah.
an extent. Okay, anything else, Diane?
No,
Okay, thank you. Frank, any questions on this one?
No.
Okay. And I've been out there when we did the original site visit and then when we talked about the enforcement order, so. Mason, I'll go along with your recommendation. Are there any raised hands from the public, although it's an enforcement order, but. Okay,
No.
is the public out there? Are they just waiting to join us when we're almost done?
Actually, while we have a second, Bob, I saw that Ned Perillo joined. Ned, the board voted to issue a full certificate of compliance, so you are all set.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to close the enforcement order for 62 Middle Road.
so moved.
Why, I'm not clear, why are we removing their enforcement order if they're not completed?
Well, they have a certificate of compliance that hasn't been issued.
Oh, we're relying on that. I
Right,
see.
yeah. That's where the planting is required. It was removal of debris and the spillage into
Okay,
the buffer was that, so,
thanks.
okay. So let me repeat that. I will entertain a motion to close the enforcement order for 62 Middle Road.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second,
Okay. Any other questions before we do a roll call? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
yes,
Diane,
Yes,
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, well, this thing has been on our agenda for better part of what, 8 months now? All right. All right, so now my page is stuck together. That's how I skipped that. Okay, enforcement order, 5 Southern Boulevard, unpermitted work. Mason, why don't you give us an overview? And I see there's an RDA submitted.
Yep, yeah,
following.
so we had briefly discussed this at the last meeting, and then, required the applicant to come in for an RDA, and that will be next on our agenda. So that would be the only update I have right now.
Okay, any questions on this one, team, that we can address during the RDA section? Okay, why don't we just continue on? All right, very next matter, a request for determination of applicability, 5 Southern Boulevard. Applicant is submitting an RDA to get unpermitted work approved on Plum Island. The applicant proposes to replace the stone and masonry retaining wall in kind. Mason, do you want to give us a quick overview? I did have a chance to talk to the owner the other day as well.
Yep, and I believe the owner is here as well, but I'll just give a brief summary. So the unpermitted work that was happening were on these two walls right here. I believe he wanted to do in-kind replacement, and then also change the angle of this side of the wall. Since then, I think there's been additional discussion on what is going to be proposed. So from there, I would leave it to the applicant if you'd like to present.
Okay. When I talked to Mr. Bennett the other day, the radius on the wall in, let's say, the 30 feet of wall that goes from probably 18 inches down to 12 inches, Mr. Bennett is not going to reinstall. He just wants to do the 2 straight walls, and to keep it straight, he's just going to go straight. I think he's planning on moving beginning of it over a foot or 2 and then just going straight. So we're eliminating probably 30% of the masonry structures. And I think he's going to use some other stabilization there. But so John Bennett, if you're on the call, let me do this. We have questions for Mr. Bennett.
Is there a plan of this change?
No, I just think where it's in kind, Mary, that it's
Okay, I didn't understand the straight part, like, is it
Oh.
not going into the stairs anymore, or?
It, basically, he's eliminating that first 30 feet.
Yep.
And he's gonna run it out straight, and then he's gonna stabilize on the,
But where's the
top.
straight part you're talking about? Can you show that, Mason? With your arrow?
Right here, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, he's basically going to, rather than doing the radius, he's just going to keep it straight. And he proposes to eliminate about 25% of the structure.
Oh, there's a wobble in the wall there? Is that what you're saying? Or it's going straight to the
Yeah,
back wall?
I think-
it's no longer gonna be a Z area, it's gonna be just a 90-degree.
Okay,
Perpendicular to the stairs and then parallel, and
Okay.
then, okay.
Yep.
But so, the net gain is he's eliminating some solid structures. And then his plan is to refresh the driveway, not changing the grades, but just refreshing the driveway.
with what material?
I think he's proposing crushed stone. At least that's what was on site, so that's what I saw.
And is that material like compatible? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's all different kinds of crushed stone, so,
Yeah, it's what we normally see. It's probably that 3/8, 3/4,
okay.
kind of a road mix or
Yeah.
a driveway mix.
Okay.
TJ, any questions on this one?
No questions yet.
Okay, Diane, any questions on this one?
I don't get what's happening across the front. You see, like, right when you look at that picture, and there's like, it looks like it was a railroad tie maybe or something on the left near the chain
Yeah,
link fence.
Yeah, so that, whatever the, from the chain link fence out to the intersection there where it looks like it's a radius, that's being eliminated.
He's still gonna go straight across, so it's gonna be 90-degree angles instead.
Correct. So he's eliminating about, I guess you call it a third of the wall. And he's straightening, I mean, for the, for the obvious too, he's straightening it for the installation, which I guess we always try to get things straight and plumb when we're doing stuff. but- So I guess the only question is the mitigation of removing that wall and then straightening the other piece, but using the sand to level off where he's pulling out the wall. I mean, the grades aren't, the real big grades are at the top. You can see the furthest from the street. That's probably a 24-inch high wall there.
Is there change to that wall? Is that being redone?
That's being replaced, but it's being replaced in kind in that location.
And is that, I can't tell, is that timbers or what is that?
No, it's all masonry. I
Okay.
actually thought it was old creosote timbers, but it was actually masonry block and kind of, I don't know, cobblestones or square stone or something like that. Actually, I think, Mary, you had a good picture of the wall. Was that you or was it Mason that had it?
I don't think it was me.
Okay. Mason, did Mr. Bennett send you a picture of what was there?
Let me I may have it on my phone. 1 minute.
I thought it was someone had provided a picture that was representative of what's existing.
Isn't that photo that we just saw existing?
Yeah, but it was actually one that was clearer, I thought, but
Oh, okay.
maybe
Does it really matter?
No, but
I mean, I think we know what the gist of this is. He wants to square off that side where the stairs come down
right.
and then eliminate the part in the front of it, right?
Yep.
As you face the house,
Correct.
Yeah,
which seems fine to me.
I don't think I have the photos. I think Mr. Bennett had showed those to me in person when he came into the office.
You know what? Maybe
fill out
it's
paperwork.
maybe it's the photo you had that I'm thinking of, but
Okay, I can.
okay. I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions at this time?
I just
Nope.
don't like to see, as a matter of practice, RDAs filed without any kind of a plan that makes it really difficult to have any measurements or understand when Mason needs to look at these sites to determine whether they were built correctly, if, without any dimensions or anything like that. So I know this is fairly simple, straightforward, but if, is this photo is the only thing we have for the record, and there's no written description of what's being done, as far as I can tell, so.
No, I mean, you bring up a good point, Mary. A suggestion, Mason, why don't you meet the owner out on the site?
Mhm.
And why don't we see if Mr. Bennett can install some wood stakes, beam poles, whatever you want to call them, where it's going in, and take some measurements and add to it. There's really no other place. You're certainly not going to make it any bigger to the right of the back wall because it wouldn't be holding up anything. And it's pretty defined. The Mason, the cobbles on the front, kind of on that little corner,
Yep.
are still in place. So I think that would be the starting point of the wall back to the existing wall, which you can still kind of see that literally it just moved, pulled the blocks out of there, and the shear wall, what sand is still there, so. But okay,
Yeah, I'm not even sure that it's, staking. I just
you just want
something
to,
for the record that shows what it is we're approving. So,
okay.
yeah.
So why don't we do this? Why don't you just get some measurements, Mason? If you can field measure from point A to point B
Yep.
and add a little SK to the file on it. And so there's a lineal in both directions.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Does anyone else have a question before I see if anyone from the public has questions? Okay, any raised hands from the public at this time, Mason?
Seeing none.
Okay.
One more question for you, Bob.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, certainly.
Is this, do they need a footing or anything for this retaining wall? Is it at grade or
They typically just have it sets on stone, crushed stone.
just, so you're gonna bed it in stone? So
Yeah.
there's some
That's usually it's for the drainage, and then it's usually the prescribed method to install that type of,
Mhm, okay.
okay. All right, any other questions, teams, before I entertain a motion?
It's gonna be the same height in front, or is it gonna be higher?
It's my understanding when I was talking to Mr. Bennett was it was going to be exactly the same height. And I guess probably they've got grandchildren and they don't want to have anything. They have actually more grandbabies than Frank has had recently. Okay. Anything else, team?
No.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 5 Southern Boulevard with the following condition that an SK be generated, verified by the agent, and added to the file. Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Diane, second.
Second,
DJ. Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary?
I'm gonna abstain from this one. I'm not,
No,
I
I
just
get
don't
that.
understand why we're doing it this way. I mean, the applicant isn't here. We don't have a plan. We don't have.
No, I
any-
think the applicant's on the phone.
Oh, okay,
You
great.
you want to ask him a question or?
Well, we had questions about the design, but
Okay, well, Mr. Bennett, you're on mute right now.
is he there?
Yeah, it says John's iPhone. I'm assuming that's
Oh, okay.
John Bennett.
I didn't know.
John, you're still on mute, John.
Hello?
Oh, there he
there
is.
you are.
Okay. John, did you hear my description of what you had mentioned to me the other day?
Yes. I can add just one or two things. The wall that's at the top of the driveway going in front of the house is approximately 25 feet long, and it's a little around 2 feet high. And the wall on the left of the driveway that I'm taking the little arch out of is 45 feet long. And it might be 32 inches at its highest in the whole thing.
And that's probably back by the stairway,
It's from the stairway towards Southern Boulevard.
but your height would, the highest point would be back towards the stairs, John?
Yes,
Okay. And was I correct that the wall in front of the house closest to the street is being removed?
Yes.
Not being replaced,
no,
okay.
yes.
So
Right.
you don't need anything to hold the sand there. Is that a parking spot in front of the telephone pole there?
Yes,
Okay.
there's like 4 parking spaces there
I see.
that have all been there forever.
Yep. So you'll just put the stone over that whole area and that will
I want to
stabilize it.
stabilize the driveway because it keeps washing out and goes down Southern Boulevard somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay, any other questions on this one? Okay, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 5 Southern Boulevard with the previous notation of just documenting the size and length of the wall. And Diane, you had seconded, you made the motion, TJ, you had seconded it. So roll call, all in favor. Mary, you still gonna abstain or what do you want to do?
I just don't like not having a plan, so I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. TJ,
Yes,
Diane,
Yes,
Frank?
No questions.
Okay, no, but it's a yes, we're voting on,
I
okay,
approve, yeah.
all right. And I'll vote yes as well. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another one, a request for determination of applicability, 10 Old Point Road, Artistic Landscapes. Applicant is proposing a paver patio to be installed and replace the existing concrete patio area. The applicant also proposes a stone sitting wall, planting beds, and landscape lighting systems. Mason, can you give us an overview on this one?
Yep, so existing in the backyard is some asphalt. It's proposed to be removing that with a paver patio. And like it was said in the submission, sitting wall, planting beds, and landscape lighting as well. I can pull up the black and white copies did not show up great, so I will pull up the color version, and I will let Tony present with Artistic Landscapes.
Okay, Tony, why don't you identify yourself and the role you're playing on this project?
I'm Tony Hurley with Artistic Landscapes. I'm the landscape contractor for Mary Sheila Christensen. And Mary's looking to remove the asphalt that's in our backyard and have us put in these paver patio with segmental wall stone. And as you may have seen, we build our patios with open 3/4 inch crushed stone, and that's where the wall will set on that as well as the pavers.
Hey, where is the pavement, Tony, you were mentioning?
It's, if you can see Mason's screen right now, that's the back of the house. And that big area is all asphalt.
Okay, and that's where you're planning to put the pavers and the sitting wall?
Yes.
Do you actually have a plan of what you're proposing with dimensions?
Yeah, I do. I believe you have it, or there's a,
Mason, do you have it, or do you want, if we let you share your screen, Tony, do you want to put it up?
I I don't know how to, that, how's that for?
Okay, yeah, that, Mason, do you have a, did Tony submit a copy of that to
Yep.
you? Okay.
1 second. Can everyone see that?
Yeah, So Tony, the usual thought that comes to mind is, what's the size of the existing pavement? And what is the proposed size of the pavers you
They're
consider?
approximately both 13 by 18. So that's the asphalt's a little bigger than that, and that's why we need the wall. There's a slope down towards her house, not away from the house, but towards the house. So that short wall will help alleviate that slope towards the house and keep it a flat ground.
Okay. Why don't I open this up to questions from the members? Mary, questions for Tony on this submittal?
Yeah, it'd be great to put dimensions on this patio and also, the paver, is it porous paver so that there's bedded in sand or stone or something, or is this mortared?
This is porous and it's 3/4 inch crushed stone for the base, and then we set the pavers on 3/8 crushed stone,
Hmm.
and we fill the joints with polymeric sand.
Okay, and then the exterior, is that all sand, that you're
And
showing where the plantings are?
correct. We were going to use some like 1/2 inch loose
Stone.
stone.
Okay,
And Mary hasn't decided if it's the 1/2 inch or 3/4, but it would be loose stone as her mulch instead of bark mulch.
okay, that's great, less lawn, and then the plantings, has she selected plantings, or are
No,
these for
she has not.
illustrated? Okay. So my only comment would be, it'd be great to add dimensions to this plan so that we have some record of what is being constructed there.
Mason, do you
and
have
that-
the dot? I'm
And
sorry.
that she select native plantings, if at all possible, from the CZM coastal plant list.
Okay.
Tony, you wanted to ask Mason something?
Mason, do you have the one-page document that has the dimensions?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, great.
Great.
Can you put that up, Mason, just so we can all look at that?
Can everyone see that?
But yeah,
Not yet?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's. I think to Mary's point, though, we could just transfer these measurements to the plan,
okay.
okay, and. Okay, let me continue. Mary, I'll come back to you if anything else.
Okay.
TJ, any questions for Tony on this submittal?
No, I think Mary covered it all.
Okay, as she usually does.
Yep.
Mary, you should get paid double for what we all get paid.
0 + 0.
Yeah, there you go. Diane, any questions for Tony on this one?
No, this is just all to be done by hand, it looks like.
We would excavate with a machine.
You're talking a Bobcat, Tony? Or
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. That's fine.
anything else, Diane?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Frank, questions for Tony on this one?
No, I have no questions. Thanks.
Okay. So Tony, the only thing I have is, I would just simply suggest that you put up a barrier, whether it's a snow fence or one of those orange fences, limitation of work, just so when your contractor, when you're out there, we're not getting further into the property and disturbing it than necessary for the work.
Okay,
Where are you gonna stage everything? I'm assuming on the driveway?
correct,
Okay. And you're gonna live haul off the materials, you're not gonna stockpile?
correct.
Okay. All right, I don't have any questions. Mary, any follow-ups in this one?
No,
Okay. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay. Do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information at this time?
just adding those dimensions to the
Yep.
patio.
Okay.
And then
Alright.
we also want plantings to be confirmed before installation as well.
That'd be great. Yes.
They should Tony, please coordinate with the agent prior to start of work, just so that you get everything checked off. and
Will do.
You'll have a smooth project. Okay, anything else, team? I will let, go ahead, Diane, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. I don't want to cut anybody off here. You know me, if you don't speak for 13 seconds, I'm gonna keep moving, but Hey, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 10 Old Point Road with the requirement to add dimensions to the plan and to contact the agent with the final selection of planting prior to install.
And the fencing, right, Bob?
Yeah, and a limit of work barrier of some sort, Tony, just so
Okay.
that. Okay, so that's the motion.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second,
Who was that?
me.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
second.
Okay. Hey, roll call vote, all in favor, Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes,
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Mary, is this your house?
Where?
Down the bottom?
It is.
Okay,
She's on mute.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, general project discussion.
Good luck.
Yep, no, looks like it's gonna be a nice project. So I wanted to bring up, team, just with July, Diane, did you?
Did we skip Jackson?
9 Jackson.
9 Jackson's still on the agenda? I
Oh,
think?
you know what, my pages are sticking together here. Mason, you're supposed to be keeping better eye on me than.
Oh,
I'm
you-
here. That's my property.
Somebody,
Yeah. It only gave me about
Mason,
8 seconds to correct you.
you're
Mason-
slipping, Bob,
Mason
you're
is-
slipping.
Mason is taking me to raise, so I've not doing his job today. Okay, we have another request for determination of applicability. 9 Jackson Way, the applicant is submitting an RDA to install a privacy fence on the westerly facing side of the property and to repair the existing deck for the new wood and new stairs. Mason, can you provide an overview or put up a plan if there's one available?
Yep, I'll pull up the RDA. In conversation with the applicant, it sounds like the deck is going to be replaced in kind. And then the fence is going to be, like I said in your description, Bob, on the western side of the property. And from driving by and taking a look at the site, it doesn't look like that there's going to be any vegetation removal necessary for the installation of the fence.
Okay.
So
Does the applicant realize it's gonna be a 50% open fence?
yeah, so I had
Okay.
actually confirmed that with the applicant
Okay.
today. It was later in the day, but I figured that could be something that we would just memorialize in the RDA.
Okay. All right.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Hang on
Hi.
1 second. We're just gonna see if we can get a picture of what you're doing. There we
Sure.
go. Okay, just give us your name and address and then make your presentation.
Oh, hello. My name's Camille Rodier. I live on 9 Jackson Way, and we're looking to update our property here. This first image is the shaded area is our existing deck. It's very old, and we have 3 young kids under the age of 6, and it's just causing splinters and not safe anymore. So we're just replacing it exact same way. We're actually shortening it slightly to make a step down. So it's pretty straightforward. Nothing's really changing there except the quality of the wood.
So the footprint is either gonna be matching existing, or you said
Correct.
slightly smaller?
We remove part of the deck to step down and make a larger step, but it's still the existing footprint.
Okay. And are you adding a set of stairs or just replacing existing?
Just replacing.
Okay. Right, why don't I stop you there and see if we have any questions from the members? Mary, any questions on this project?
Oh, thank you, Camille, for providing a plan. It makes me
Sure.
very happy.
Well, I was told to.
I
thought that
know.
was you too.
That's what we usually have. It looks pretty straightforward to me. Deck replacement, in kind, and
Mhm.
the fencing is going where on this plan? Where would the fencing be going?
So,
Right along that edge. Okay.
Mason has one more, I can show one, but there's one more slide just like this one that shows the deck. Mason, if you have
Yep.
that.
Yep, I can pull that up.
Um,
But that other fence on the other side then is off your property, it looks like.
Yeah, so ours is gonna run the line of that. That's just the type of fence we wanted.
Maybe I don't have it on this. I can
I
allow you
can
to
show a
share.
picture if you want me to.
Okay,
Uh,
but before you do that, Camille,
Mhm.
are you reusing the existing supports for the deck? Or-
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Yes, we are. Thankfully, yeah, they're already in place. So it's really just replacing the deck.
okay. So, Mary, any questions for Camille at this
No,
point?
that's great, thank you.
Okay. TJ, any questions?
Just going back to the fence,
Ye-
just to make sure the applicant knows about the 50% rule, because it looked like that fence was completely solid.
Yeah, I had a question about that. I have, I'm curious why the 50% rule exists. Is it for the wind and the sand? I was told that was necessary for, right, the movement of wind and sand for the land.
Correct.
So, I was also told that it's for, for fences facing the street or near intersections. Is that still the case or?
It has to do with technically you're on a dune, even though looks like it's probably relatively flat site.
Yeah,
you're
it's
part
actually
of-
grass, which is.
Yep, you're
it's
part of the
grass
barrier
the-
beach, so everything on Plum Island is a dune essentially. And so that's why the requirements are not from us, from DEP, that any structure needs to allow sand migration under it or through it. Because
So, there are existing fences in my area and abutting me that are not of that rule. So I just wonder if those are just grandfathered in or just weren't done properly, because the fence is also a bit of a privacy fence for the children and for our property. So
Yeah,
I was just told today of the 50% rule, which I knew was an option, but I hadn't been informed till
Yeah.
today. So I'm just
no, it's,
wanting to
so
make sure.
Camille, it's a requirement and it's one that the state has come down with. On Plum Island, and I've been out here a long time myself, there are many non-conforming existing yard features that have existed and people have the right to maintain, which creates confusion. But you can get the 50% open privacy fences, which will provide you the privacy. It's basically, Mason, do we have an area? What was the last one?
Plum Island Grill has them.
Plum Island Grill has them?
I mean, not
Sunset Club.
Sunset Club had it
Yeah.
on their side property line.
Okay.
I'm familiar with them. Okay, if that's the.
Yeah,
if
that's the
situation.
50%. You don't have to have a 50%
Okay.
gap that you can see through. It's picture on a 2x4, you put a 1x6 every 6 inches on one side, and then
Yeah.
where it's the gap on the other side,
Right.
you put the same 1x6. So you get the privacy, but you get the lateral movement.
Yeah, that's the difficulty because there is a dog abutting us and it still sees movement. So that's sort of the difficulty with the fence, because you can still see
Not that
movement.
fence, but there was one
The
along.
one in the back. Yeah, the one in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that one, yeah.
No, they're nice. They're nice fences. Yeah, but you can still see movement, which is part of what we're trying to create. But if that's the state rule, we understand.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what it is, that's what it is, and everyone else has been required to do that, and then certainly well, they wish they could do something else, but what we try to do is not set you up where that we approve a RDA for you, and then the state comes in and appeals it, and then it adds a whole different level of time and cost for you.
Sure.
So,
Understood.
okay.
Thank you. Yep, that's fine.
Okay. All right, Mary, I'm going to go back to you. Any other questions for Camille
No.
on this one? Okay, TJ, any other question?
No other questions, no?
Okay, Diane, any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, Frank, any questions?
No,
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, hang on, Camille, we still have to take a vote on this.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Sorry.
and Bob, yeah,
First timer.
You want the good news at the end. You've been on the meeting now for an hour. You might as well hang around for the good news. I have no questions. Any raised hands from the public? Mason?
Seeing none.
Okay, do any members
not
have a request for a site visit or additional information?
Um,
Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 9 Jackson Way with the notation that the fence must conform to the 50-50 rule.
So moved.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, roll call. All in favor? Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
Yes,
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Have a good night, Camille.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good
Okay.
evening.
All right. 7:02. That way we're gonna have a quick one here. Okay, general project discussion, meeting dates for the summer of 2025. Team, I wanted to propose was consider meeting once a month during July and August. I am concerned with quorums, vacations, and the like. I know that may be a inconvenience for filers. But if we don't have a quorum, it's gonna result in the same thing. And I've got a pretty busy schedule traveling and other things myself. So I'm just suggesting that we have one meeting in July, one meeting in August. If
Me-
someone doesn't want to wait, there's a path where they can go directly to DEP after 20 days.
we did that before some of you all were on the board.
Yeah,
That was, so it's not unprecedented.
okay. Any further discussions, team? Do we want to just keep, say, the first meeting of July and the first meeting of August and cancel the second meeting of the month?
Would that be the July 1st or July 8th?
I think it would be
first,
July 1st. And then it will be the first meeting. What's the first Tuesday in?
Believe it's
5th.
Yeah,
Fifth.
August 5th.
Okay. All right, so July 1st and August 5th. Okay, I will entertain a motion to amend our meeting order, our meeting dates for the month of July and August to reflect one meeting July 1st and in August, one meeting on August 5th.
so moved.
Okay, TJ, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Frank. Frank, you were pretty quick on getting out of meetings. It was.
I got a busy August coming up, Bob.
No, you know what? That's the problem. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a second. Okay, roll call vote. Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
Yes,
Frank,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
and Bob Connors says yes. Okay,
Maybe-
the other,
before you move
Yeah.
on to the next one,
Yeah.
I would just suggest, Mason, that you put something on the website,
Yep.
bold to alert people. Yeah.
Mhm.
and you know what? You should probably alert Sunset at 2 Plum Island Boulevard, the ones that have been kind of lingering along and.
Yep, will do.
Okay. Okay, no, good suggestion, Mary, thank you. Okay, next matter is, the DEP has appealed the 7 Marsh Avenue order of conditions. Mason, you want to give us a quick overview on that? And
Yeah, I can share the letter that they had sent.
I put that in the letter is in the
Oh, okay.
Dropbox. Yeah, I threw it in the,
Was that the doc?
yeah, it was.
Mhm.
Surprise,
Shocking.
surprise, Mary.
Yeah.
So yeah, no site walk has been scheduled yet. But when that does get scheduled, I'll let everyone know. And I can keep everyone in the loop with the comments that DEP has once they are a little bit more detailed and specific on it.
Okay,
And
the
I
other,
think their main thing that they get tripped up on is the adverse impact in the ACEC.
yeah, well, they'll figure it out.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, the other matter is an abutter appeal for 80 Northern Boulevard order of conditions. So they're seeking a superseding order from DEP and Mason, anything on that other than, they scheduled the site visit on that?
Yep, this, I believe it's a week from today. Let me double check. Week from tomorrow, excuse me, 10 a.m. at 80 Northern. Applicant and their representative, as well as the abutters, their attorney, and I will be in attendance. So I
Okay.
can update everyone after that one as well.
Okay. All right. The next matter is Great Meadows parking. And so we have the lease has expired over there. And so Mason has reached out to the town administrator. They're going to review this, and when they come back, they'll present a lease for our consideration. But just so that the paperwork and the legality of it all is handled by those outside of us, then we can look
That's
at
the
that.
lease for the mowing.
Yes, yeah, for the
Hay,
mowing,
yeah.
yeah. And with that, we can address the parking area too, what's gonna happen there. It's still an issue. Now, is that area over there, it's an existing roadway? That's all existing?
What do you
I
mean,
just-
the driveway into the parking area?
Well, yeah, those are all been existing and just being refreshed. What I'm wondering, Mary, is does it require, is it exempt because it's owned by the town and or should we consider just getting an RDA to?
Well, whether it's like a exempt maintenance, it depends on how much they need to do there. If it's just adding gravel or something, probably not, but
It
it's
sounded
just,
like it wasn't a big deal, so.
it's not a big deal. It needs some fill to even it out and some gravel to, it just is a big mosh pit sometimes when it rains
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it's very uneven. It's not been maintained for a very long time.
Mary, did you say a mosh pit?
I know, I'm dating myself.
Right.
Not that I've ever been in one, I've just heard.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
No.
your girlfriends, your sorority sisters have told you about
Yeah,
that.
right.
Your hippie days are coming
Yeah.
back, huh?
Yeah,
Just to be clear, we don't think it's necessary for us to file, the town to file an RDA
Okay.
for this.
It depends on what they need to do.
Okay,
If it's how extensive it is.
okay.
I can send you the language for minor exempt activity.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
so Mason, if the town coordinates that with you and if you feel that it's gonna be more than just a refresh, bring it back to our attention.
Yep, will do.
And so the existing lease has expired. I'm anticipating they're just going to go back to the previous leaseholder and renew it, but
And that is Colby, right?
yeah, that was
Chair.
Colby.
Yep.
Yep. So, and then we'd come back with the lawful lease for our consideration because we actually oversee the property for the town. And then it would be having the commission authorize me to sign the document for the lease. That would be once it's in proper format, so.
I do remember the last time we renewed it. Frank, you might have been on the board then too. We had some limits on when it could be cut for protection of bird habitat and bird nesting.
Believe you guys moved the date from July 15th to July 30th.
Yeah, something.
I have it in my notes. I can review
Okay.
that and I'll
Yeah.
make sure that that's included.
Yeah, actually, I think I put a copy of that. Oh, you know what? I didn't put a copy of that in the Dropbox. It was the old lease. But I do have a copy of the old lease. I can add that to the Dropbox, man, if you want to take a review. Okay. Okay, anything else? Staff reports and updates, Mason? Anything that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, team. Any final thoughts? Mary, anything you want to put out there before
No.
before I ask you to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Anybody else have any comments or thoughts before we adjourn? Okay, so Mary's made a motion. Who will second that?
I will.
Okay, roll call, all in favor, Mary, TJ,
Yes.
Diane, Bob Connors,
Yes.
and Frank.
Yes.
All right, 7-11.
Thanks,
Not
Bob.
bad at all.